Hi, I am Parmesh Shah. I am the lead rural development specialist with the Agriculture Global Practice of the bank. Today, I am going to tell you about a women's economic empowerment program being implemented in India since last decade. The program has empowered 25 million rural women and has helped the poorest households to come out of poverty. Now, how was this achieved and how has this been done? The first thing the program tries to do is to help people save every week, small savings with small doses of savings, and facilitates the holding of meetings and mobilizing them to save small amounts. It then builds their capacity to manage savings, revolve the money, and do financial management of that money to solve the daily short-term needs of paying the fees for their school children or emergency health expenditure, or making small investments and inputs on various businesses and various livelihoods which they take up. Once people accumulate the savings and they reach a certain level of financial inclusion and capitalization, the program supports them to prepare income development and micro livelihood plans. What that means is that everyone looks at what resources they have, what livelihoods they have, and then invests in developing capacity to manage those livelihoods. These plans are then presented to commercial banks and other financial institutions, which look at those plans, appraise them, and then decide how to finance them. So, from $1 of savings, people are able to prepare plans worth $3 to $4 and are able to mobilize credit and important financial services from financial institutions. From being passive participants in the financial markets, people become very important clients of the banking system. And this is done by investing in the institutional platform of women who form self-help groups and then federate and then do collective action to become attractive clients for the financial banking system. The next initiative is linking them with markets. Most smallholders and women farmers find it very difficult to interact with the market. What the program does is really helps them to open their own farmer field schools, learn about productivity enhancement technologies, and then increase productivity of their small farms. It helps them access extension services and also access important inputs, credit, extension services, inputs, all under one window. So, in some senses, it is a one-stop shop for poor people. Poor people otherwise cannot interact with different agencies at different points of time. They need a single window institutional platform to be able to interact with the market. So, it enables a number of poor people to interact with market in an aggregated form. So, the main intervention here is to enable the poor women and the small farmers to interact with the market in an aggregate way. After they have interacted in terms of increasing production and productivity, the program helps them to connect with market. This is done by helping these small producers form producer groups and then eventually aggregate and federate to form a producer company of their own. And these producer companies then develop partnerships, they pool their produce, do quality control at the local level with some kind of technical training and guidance, and then are able to pool all their produce to interact with private sector as well as other aggregators and the market players like traders and producers. When they interact with market in an aggregate way, they are able to increase the price realization by almost 20 to 30% by just aggregation. In addition to that, a number of small producers are enabled to improve quality by using digital moisture meters, by which they are able to record how much moisture in their crop is, weighing their crop, and creating a transaction platform for private sector to be able to lift the produce of the small farmers in a traceable and a qualitative way. This enables the poor to interact with both the national and the export markets in a very effective kind of way. Now, at what scale is this being done? The bank is supporting the government in India and in many other states of India at the scale of 25 million women, which means that each household has about 5 population. So, it is about 125 million people being supported by this activity. These women over 10 years have accumulated a savings base of more than $1 billion, and they have been able to revolve this to create their own local livelihood economy of almost $3 billion. Not only that, these women have now submitted credit plans and have been provided credit and other financial services to the extent of $14 billion over these 10 years. Now, if you look at that number, that is almost doubling or tripling the quantum of financial resources flowing to the poor every year. So, the poor in India are very excluded from the financial sector and the commodity sector and the agriculture market. So, what are the 3 main lessons which we can learn from this? First is that we need to help poor people aggregate themselves and form their own institutions. If you help them form their own institutions and aggregate their produce, aggregate their demand for resources, then market is able to come to them rather than consider them risk worthy. Second is you need to capacitate the poor. You need to build capacities of planning, financial management, bookkeeping and negotiation with the market in the poor. If you capacitate them and invest in that capacity building, then you are creating a new livelihood economy and a new market for the poor. The third is that you need to do networks of poor people with the market. So, once poor people are networked and they are aggregated, when all the 25 million women come together in form of an institutional platform and they are federated, the market starts coming to them and various kinds of partnerships with market, state and other entrepreneurs can be built in. So, if we need to make this strategic investment in the beginning, the returns of poor people becoming part of market economy are evident. Thank you.